Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Glenwood Coaches Show here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. I am sitting in for Noah Shelton, Thrift Behringer, and along with me is the head football coach of the Glenwood Gators, Coach Ryan Nelson. Coach, how excited are you coming in 2-0 this week, baby?
Oh, I appreciate you showing up and doing this for us. And I know I had some other obligations you had to do. So, first, thank you for doing this, and thank you for everything you do for these kids, for Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Man, it's such an amazing thing y'all do for the Bi-City area, for all these kids get recognition. And I thank you for everything you do for Glenwood. But to get back to your question, yes, we're thrilled to be 2-0, and not to sit here and say that from a coach standpoint, we expect it, but you always expect to go out and you want to win. And the way we work and prepare, hopefully the cards fell our way. That's what we was hoping for, and we would be sitting here 2-0. So we are, but we got to turn the page real quick and move to region play. But can't be more happy the way our kids showed up and played last Friday night.
All right, let's recap the game, Coach. Previous week was probably the biggest win, one of the biggest wins in school history, beating a 5A Valley school, and especially in the dramatic fashion and the comeback and the way you were able to do it. You then counter that by then going on the road and playing the number one team in 1A in Elba, who has one of the, if not the top running back in the entire state of Alabama, and Alvin Henderson. You hold them to less than 200 yards when he's been getting over 300 yards the previous 5 games, and then you win 49-22. So we'll start first with the overall assessment of how you felt about your team going in the game, and then we'll talk specifics with offense and defense.
Well, going back to last week, very difficult to win a game like we did against Valley and then have an opponent like we had, with Elba and Alvin Henderson to kind of play back-to-back weeks like that. And but it's something I scheduled, no one going in. It was going to be a tough road test, but I wanted to go play 2 very good teams and then go play a kind of a long road trip, at least one of the 2 teams, to get us ready for this week.
Right.
And so the one thing I'll tell you about our program and our kids, we had a phenomenal week of practice last week, and our kids really bought in defensively what we was trying to do. We jumped on the bus Friday and left out of town, and credit our what we call our DOFO, Chris Blackshear. He had us set up at Troy Cattleman's place, so we went in there and we ate really good. We had a great area to dress in, but I told our coaches when we got on the bus and just the whole road trip, it was a business-like road trip for us, and our kids were locked in. There wasn't a whole lot of cutting up, if any. There wasn't no playing. It was a business mentality. So always, you have questions like that early in the year because you're trying to figure your team out as a head coach, and you got to know we had some new guys, how they would have on a road trip, but just cannot be more happy how we prepared for Elba. And then, once the ball was kicked off, I think the opening possession offensively was really sloppy. After about, 3 or 4 plays of that, the game really went the way we wanted to. And I can't credit our defense enough in the first half. We shut them out in the first half. I think we held number 2 to less than 100 yards in the first half. And all week we really preached about him just limiting the big runs and things like that. So we limited that. We shut him down. We were up 21-0 after the first possession offense. So we got the thing rolling. And I can't say enough about Levi Pender and the way he played and just kind of played point guard for us at quarterback, distributing the ball over the field. We had several guys. I think we had 3 or 4 guys that have over 5 catches in the ball game. So very thrilled first half. And the second half, not that we played bad or anything, but we gave up a few runs defensively, which you're going to give up to that guy. Right. He's a tremendous ball player, one of the better backs I've played against in my coaching career. So just overall, we talked about it all week. One guy was not going to win that game. It had to be a team game. So just very happy for our team, our community, our fans, and just go out and play a really clean ball game and be 2-0.
You replaced a guy in Dallas Crow last year. We talked about what he meant to your program and the playmaking ability he has. And Levi Pender comes in, and he has done a phenomenal job. And in week 2, 18 of 22, 359 yards, 2 touchdowns, 27 rushing yards, and a rushing touchdown. Yeah. What has he meant early on in his tenure as a quarterback? Because I feel like he is passing with flying colors. What has he meant to you and your program, and how do you think he went in game 2?
Yeah, well, one thing about Levi's a leader. And, I got a lot of confidence in that kid, man. I've had a lot of confidence in him, since he's been with us. Last year, we needed him to go play defense and help us out, so he started linebacker for us. And but he always got reps at quarterback, and obviously we had Dallas last year who's, played at a high level for us also. But, just Penner's a little different than Dallas. He's not one of these guys that's got the speed as Dallas has and the quickness, but he's still an athlete.
Yep.
So he still has a lot of athleticism, can pull the ball down and run it, but he throws the ball really well. And I think the best thing that I can say about him, Coach Webb's been with him and handled him all summer, is just his pre-snap recognition. Understand what we're trying to do. when the play's called, finding the pre-snap stuff, and then, like I said earlier, just delivering the ball, whether it be, throwing it on the perimeter with a huge RPO offense or handing the ball to our backs and letting them run. So very happy the way he played. Like you said, he's 18 for 22, so very efficient throwing the ball. And, Mason McCrane made some plays. Cam Cooper made some plays. Kyle Lawrence made some plays. Cam Dawson made some plays. River Baker made some plays. Reese Adams made some plays. Jermaine Brown made plays. Carter Judah made plays. Makai Simpson made plays. So when you sit there,
a lot of playmakers, guys.
When you're able to distribute a ball to that many people, you're not sitting there just like a one-headed monster. So you got to cover the whole field, and that's what we always try to do: spread the field out, make them play sideline to sideline, and then when they do that, let them backs get up there and make plays also.
If he's going to throw for that many yards, and you're going to have the great rushing attack of Judah and Brown, you got to have good offensive line play.
Yeah. Give
the credit to the Big Uglies up front, because I think they have been dominant in these first 2 weeks.
Yeah, ain't no doubt. And, credit to all those guys, too, because, we had to play them on defense last week to put some beef in there to stop that guy. So
right.
Tyler Sykes, Brendan Niles, A.C. Carter, Carter Ross, Cooper Favors, Ethan Henderson. And, those guys played so many plays last week on both sides of the ball, and they just played with a lot of heart. That's the main thing. When you look at Tyler Sykes, you look at Winter, you look at Aaron Carter, you look at Carter Ross, man, big heart, team guys, winner, and leaders. And, I can't credit those guys enough.
Defensively, I've said this on our show multiple times, Coach, and I know you're going to agree with me. There's two assistant coaches I think that have done a great job in the schools that we cover. D-Rock Brooks of Harris County, holding a lot of teams, to single digits, and Josh McConnell of the Glenwood Gators. Talk about what he's meant and what his defense has done, and who were some of your key defensive guys you saw from week 2?
Yeah, he's done an awesome job, and I thought he did a spectacular job last year for us also.
Yeah.
First year kind of getting adjusted to the way we do things and things like that, but I tell you, I got so much trust in Josh, man. I love him to death. Well, we're great friends off the field, too. And like I think I said it 2 weeks ago, man, we're just kind of both gym rats. Man, we love football. We love to be around the kids.
Right.
We love practice. We love getting there on Sundays and trying to scheme up and trying to find ways to make it successful. And I think he's that guy, and he's always been that guy. And I can't be more happy, not just him, but our defensive staff putting together a great plan for what they do offensively. And, just coming out, I thought we played with a lot of effort. We ran to the ball. We tackled well, and especially him, because it's very difficult to tackle Alvin. And I ain't going to lie, he's a very good player.
Yeah.
But, just to name some kids that played really well for us. Again, Emory Davis had a great game for us. I think he had 8-9 tackles. Carter Judah had 11 tackles. Cam Cooper had 10 tackles. So they were kind of a three-headed monster. I thought Makai Simpson played really well, too. We kind of backed him up, played him in a rover, and he was able to clean some things up for us back there. And he's coming on to his own. He's starting to get his body back right. So, and then we talked about all the D linemen right there, and we had to play with a lot of beef in there because they're going to run the football, and that's what they did. So just very happy, just our effort defensively, our buy-in. And then I thought Joseph, golly, old JoJo, I'm forgetting his last name right now, and I hate to do that because I'm going to see him tomorrow.
He's going to say something, Coach.
Oh, my God. But I thought he did a great job, too, inside linebacker. I think he had 8 or 9 tackles. So just like I said, a great game for our defense.
All right, Coach, let's talk about, because even though it was a great performance, you won by 27, there are always things you want to improve on. What are some of the things you felt like your team needed to clean up that you didn't like seeing in last week's game?
Well, there ain't no doubt. We had a bunch of penalties. And that's just, sometimes early in the year that happens. But we got to get it cleaned up. And we had some penalties on offense that we worked on when we got back to practice this week, especially like holding on the perimeter and things like that. There wasn't so many pre-snap, post-snap penalties. It was more within a game. So that's going to happen. So we definitely got to clean that up. But, we got to turn the page. This week, defensively, we're not facing an offense that's going to play in a phone booth, as we say.
Yep.
And so they're going to spread the ball back out, kind of more of a modernized offense. So we got to kind of flip the script. And, we got to play well in the secondary this week. They got a lot of playmakers on the perimeter and things like that. So just turning the page week to week, thrift, and, trying to move on. And hopefully we can play another clean game this week.
Gators are 2-0. We're going to take a break. When we come back from break, we're going to talk more about the program. We're going to talk about JV teams how they're doing this season, and more on the Glenwood Coach Show on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. We'll be right back after this. Georgia Alabama Sports Live wants to say thank you to one of our presenting sponsors, Buffalo Rock, and their partnership with everything that we do. And without business like Buffalo Rock, we wouldn't be able to go cover softball, volleyball games, every type of high school sport you can think of, local college games and professional. So thank you to those businesses that support us, and specifically Buffalo Rock. And next time you're watching a Georgia Alabama Sports Live broadcast after a nice long day, why not enjoy it with a nice refreshing sorry? The best lemon lime soda around. Thank you to Sorry and Buffalo Rock for our partnership on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Truckloads of fresh inventory are rolling into Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika. Check out the powerful new Chevrolet Silverado 4-wheel drive crew cabs, discounted up to $13,750 off. Chevy Equinox with discounts up to $6,000 off. And listen to this, 2024 Chevy Blazer EV, as low as $295 a month. Brand new Chevy Blazer EV, 24 months lease, just $295 a month.
Get ready to smile.
Welcome back to the Glenwood Coaches Show here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. I'm Thrift Behringer alongside head football coach Ryan Nelson. All right, Coach, let's talk about your program. But beforehand, I know you saw on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live show, I just want to make mention again that Smith Station had a tough time against Valley last week, and Glenwood beat Valley the week before. So maybe in the near future we could get a Glenwood-Smith Station football game, Coach. But the Gators, 2-0, coming in now to week 3. And we'll talk about who you're playing next week after this next segment. We'll talk about your program as a whole. You make the move to the AHSAA. You know, there's a lot of detractors out there that wanted y'all to fail. And I'm not, you know, it's still early in the season, Coach, but you could not have written a better script to make a move into the new league and to dominate and win these first 2 games in the way you have. What does that mean for you and your program and Glenwood School as a whole?
Yeah, well, first, let me retract. I got to go back and talk about Josiah.
Go ahead. I know you want to fix that, Coach.
JoJo, I apologize if you sit here watching, man. Yeah, I got a little tongue-tied there, but just credit to him, too. He played really well the other night, and so he's a sophomore. Trying to figure things out also, but has went into a role at inside linebacker and done a phenomenal job. He played lights out last Friday night. So proud of him and seeing him mature and all that kind of stuff. But getting back to your question, look, it's football to me.
Right.
And I've been fortunate enough to be at some other schools besides Glenwood in my previous coaching career. And the one thing that I finally understood when I went to a couple of different schools, the competition you play is still going to be good. You're still going to play football. It's still X and O game. There's still a lot of good coaches out there.
Right.
It's just when you play at some of these bigger programs, they got a lot more depth. Usually interior guys, you're going to have a lot more to pick from. And but football is football. And, you know, at the end of the day, 11 guys are going to be out there and on both sides of the ball. And so for me, just the transition, it wasn't that big of a deal because I've been in public school my whole life.
Right.
And I've been, I've had to kind of adapt and get accustomed to AISA the last 2 years because it's coached and ran a little different than what I was accustomed to. So I knew going back, just back to the public school, look, it was a good thing for me because of the simple fact of, you're playing against different teams. So you're not having to play the same teams over and over and over. And I think in football, besides the NFL, you don't really sit there and play the same team twice.
No.
Maybe here and there in the playoffs and things like that, where in that league, you're playing the same teams twice in a year every year.
Sometimes 3 times.
Yeah, sometimes. Could be. So I really think it helped our school from a travel standpoint. Like this week, this is going to be our longest road trip at a region. We're going about 1 hour and 40 minutes to Sylacauga, and that's it. So opposed to the league we was in, you're traveling like we did last week, 2.5, 3 hours for region games. So, but there's always that unknown. I can't sit here and say that that a lot of people didn't think we wasn't going to be 2-0. We'd be 0-2 right now. But I told our coaches, no matter what happens right now, whether we're 2-0, 1-1, or 0-2, the season starts this week. So no matter what, and I always like to play in, really tough environments and tough games to open up the season to prepare you for region play, because no matter what anybody tells you, the season and everything is based off the playoffs.
Yep. So
the region gets you in the playoffs. So right now this week we start region play. So it's the most important week of the season. This week we got to figure out how to be 1-0. Because we want to be in the playoffs. That's our main goal. Yeah, we want to win the region. We want to win the South. But we want to find a way to get to the playoffs, because if you can do that, then it turns into a one-game deal and anything can happen. I've been on both sides of it. I've been on runs where we won state championships and, we went through the playoffs. And I've also been on teams where we were very, very good and we couldn't finish the deal. So them one-game deals are difficult at times, but you play the whole season to get to the playoffs.
Right.
So we got to figure out how to get in. And yeah, we're happy to be 2-0, but again, we're 0-0 in the region, so this week is when it starts and when it really matters.
Well, I'm just going to say this as someone that's went to Glenwood and understands what being a part of the Glenwood family means, Coach. A lot of the detractors were, like you said, competition-wise, just it wasn't living up to maybe some of the other schools. Now you can't say that anymore. And to start the way it has, I know everyone is wearing that Gators proud on their chest, and just an incredible start. But like you mentioned, it's not region. These are two games that really, in the grand scheme of things, didn't really matter, but you're glad to start on 2-0.
Right.
Before we talk about next week, I want you to talk about your JV program and just the program as a whole. Who are leading the Pee Wee teams? I mean, all of them are playing right now.
Yeah,
So
they are.
how is that going, Coach?
Going awesome, man. And so, both of those are Pee Wee and middle schools in their second game tonight. Coach Derek Denny and his staff leading our Pee Wee, and Coach Bryce Valero and his staff leading our middle school. So we got one team on the road at Lee Scott, got one team playing at home right now. And I love our numbers right now on Pee Wee. We got a lot of kids out of that age. Our middle school program, we're trying to increase those numbers right now. But we're looking at both of them. We feel like we got strong groups coming up through the school and all that kind of good stuff. So very excited about them, and hopefully they find a ways to win right now. And so we try to build that that program with. And I've always said that you got to build your program from the bottom up.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to continue to grow them and continue to let those guys just come out, learn the fundamentals of football. So when they hit the 9th grade, they're ready to help us on the varsity.
No doubt. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back from break, we're going to actually start previewing Week 3. It's BB Comer. They made it to the semifinals last year, the state finals the year before, and it's going to be a great region matchup. We'll talk about that with Coach Ryan Nelson on the Glenwood Coaches Show here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
My name is Quinteria Perry, and this is my CVCC story. I've graduated from CVCC with my associates in medical assistant, and I received my certification from CVCC. The training that I got from CVC and being prepared to come and do clinicals helped tremendously. I started looking at scholarships, and the Ambassador Scholarship was interesting to me because you did events to earn your scholarship and you meet people. My favorite part about my job is meeting patients every day. They will crack me up every day. They make my day better. I would recommend CVCC to anyone that asks because of the scholarships, the teachers, the small stuff that you can't get at a university. They actually take the time out for each student.
Georgia Alabama Sports Live is proud to partner with one of our presenting sponsors, Buffalo Rock. And without this partnership, it would be hard to be able to live stream all the different sporting events at high schools, colleges, and local professional teams every single week like we do. So we thank Buffalo Rock for their support of Georgia Alabama Sports Live. And next time you're watching a Georgia Alabama Sports Live broadcast, make sure you're drinking a nice, refreshing Pepsi. Delicious. Thank you to Buffalo Rock and Pepsi. Welcome back to the Coaches Show, and I feel like a buffoon right now because we're live from Mike and Ed's Barbecue, the best barbecue around. You can smell their butts for miles. Cannot believe I didn't bring that up when I first started this. So, Chase Cook, please don't get mad at me, but we're at one.
He's already texted me.
I know it. I'll make it up next week, I promise. But we're at Mike and Ed's Barbecue. This is where we host the Glenwood Coaches Show. And, Coach, we were talking a little bit off air. It's like people don't believe that y'all had great football players, too.
Yeah, well, first, let me go back again. Mike and Ness, thank you, Chase,
Yeah.
your family and everything for what y'all do for our program.
No doubt.
And I know it's Tuesday night tonight, but every Monday night we down here. We love the hospitality, and we love the barbecue even better. Best barbecue in the Bi-City by far.
Not even close.
Yeah, but getting back to what you said, and that's one thing when I got to Glenwood, too, is, you don't really know what to expect. You come in here, and because I've never really been a part of it, I don't know. But
Right.
one thing you find out real quick is, they got players too. And so that's one thing I have found out. And like we talked about earlier, football's football. And I tell everybody, well, I've seen players at all classifications in Alabama and Georgia. And if you can play football, you can play football. It don't matter where you play. And some people are not fortunate enough to go to these big schools and get recognized because where they live and things like that. So,
Right.
but a football player when you see one. So I tell people all the time, we got good football players, and it's been a joy to coach them and watch them go every single day. But most importantly, watch them work. And I told the kids when we met on this Monday morning, man, it's been so much fun watching these kids grow up into young men the last 2 weeks because of, like you said, the beat down they've took in their whole careers, that they don't play against no competition. Oh yeah, you may be good, but who are you playing? All this kind of stuff.
Right.
So, but these kids have just kind of just took that in the back of their mind and flushed it and said, you know what, we're gonna roll our sleeves up and we're gonna go to work and we're gonna prove to everybody that we are who we are.
Yeah, it's right here. He is the face of it. He literally is the epitome of what you just said. Roll your sleeves up, get dirty, and that's how you are, and that's how your program is built off of, the foundation. BB Comer, that's who you're playing. They're 0-2. I may mention last year semifinal, year before state, got off to a little bit of a rocky start this year. It's only about an hour and 30-minute drive. What are you expecting when BB Comer, when you're going to their place?
Well, there's no doubt they got a winning tradition. No doubt they got a great coaching staff, and there's no doubt they got great players. And it starts, for them with number 8. Phenomenal player, was a phenomenal player for them last year. Played quarterback a little bit for them last year. They tried to move him around a little bit. They moved him back to quarterback last week. So, great player. Another kid they got, number 9, a skilled guy that plays safety and receiver. He's very elusive. Got a small little back who can really run. And what impressed me so much when you turn the film on is how good they are up front defensively. They get off the football, number 50, number 52, number 33. So we're going to have our hands full. And, always go on the road. You don't never know. Kind of what I talked about we did so well last week. You hope you can repeat it, but, kids are kids. So we got to figure out how to get on that bus, be businesslike. But, it's something we're not accustomed to either. I mean, we haven't played in this region yet, so they're going to have to figure us out like we got to figure them out. So hopefully we can go down there and make adjustments. Right now, preparing for rain as it's, right around.
Does that change the way you go about calling a game, Coach, or preparing for a game?
Well, 100%. It all depends on how hard the rain is,
Right.
how much wind's involved. We are playing on turf, so that's going to give us, a little bit kind of a different feel too than a grass field would be. But
Right.
If it's raining like it says it's going to rain, going to be over a half inch of rain.
Jesus.
Sometimes you can take the forward pass out of it. So you got to find different ways to run the football and hold on to the football. So we preach things like that all the time. So we just in our mind right now we're preparing like we always prepare. And we had a great Tuesday practice today. We'll wake up, have our situational practice tomorrow on Wednesday, and get up in there, and then hopefully we can find a way to play at a high level again on Friday.
But when Labor Day, did that have anything to do with like how you were able to practice, or you like the fact you didn't have school so you could get in early and stuff like that? No doubt.
Loved it. Loved it.
Smiling right now.
Yeah, for sure, loved it. So we gave the kids Saturday and Sunday off. Usually we come in on Sundays, but with having school off on Monday, you can get a lot more done. So we brought the kids in 9 o'clock. Went straight to the practice field, tried to beat the heat, which we did, and like today it was perfect weather. Any football coach in America, or not America, but down here in the South,
Right.
they cannot complain today. We had great weather.
No doubt.
So, but no, we got them in at 9 o'clock. We went out and practiced, and we come in, we lifted, watched film, did what we call our B swap. So we got in there and started working on BB Comer and things like that. So just a normal day, normal practice today, and so hopefully we're going to be prepared as we always are, and we come out and. Again, we're just trying to play a great ball game Friday.
You made mention about Chris Blackshear. I did want a little bit behind the scenes. How important is it having a guy like that to handle logistics and everything else? Because I don't think people understand. It's more than just setting up a practice, coach, and then going out there and figuring X's and O's. You got to make sure that everybody's got their pads. You got to make sure you got transportation.
Yeah.
How important is it to have someone like him involved that it's just takes a lot off your shoulders?
It's unbelievable, and I tell him all the time, and I couldn't do it without him because he handles so much for me off the field, especially when we go on the road, as far as travel, where we're eating, post-game meals, and things like that. And not only him, I want to give Wes Hargrove.
Got to shout out Big Rats now.
Because he's involved with the same thing that Chris does. And then we hired a new guy this year, just was with us at Central, named Jeremy Nicely. So we kind of got a 3-headed monster right now. So we got a team. And I'll tell you what, they do such a great job of setting our sidelines up, making sure we got everything on the road, making sure we got everything in pregame, making sure the coaches got the right attire on. So they do a great job, and I couldn't do it without them. And people don't understand it's so much more than just showing up on Friday nights and coaching football to run a big-time program.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So, again, BB Comer, 8 o'clock. Make sure to go out. Again, where's the game at for all those alumni that would maybe want to make the drive?
It's at Legion's Field, which is their city park.
Okay.
Them and Sylacauga share the same stadium in Sylacauga, so you can't miss it as soon as you pull in. in Silicaca. You can't miss. It's the big city stadium right there across the street from the Jacks. So they got a very nice stadium, turf field, big sidelines, big stadium. So we're looking forward to going over there playing.
No doubt about it, Coach, and we are excited. Again, the Glenwood Gators, 2-0, trying to go 1-0 in the region. That's the most important record for you, Coach, because you want to be able to make it to the playoffs coming up. And we will be back broadcasting next week as Childersburg, right?
Yeah,
Am I
yep.
saying that
That's
right?
correct, yep.
There are so many of these schools, Coach,
It's
that I
new
never
for
even
you.
heard
That's
of
right,
now
yep.
because I'm so used to the Lee Scott, Macon East,
Well,
Pike, and everything else.
Make the trip up from Phoenix City and Auburn and go up 280 like you on to Birmingham. You'll hit every one of them.
Oh, there we go.
There
And
you go.
it's not a bad drive either,
No, it's
Coach.
not.
And then when Beulah comes up, we're probably going to make that drive to Beulah.
Yeah.
So we cannot wait. But, Coach, excited about what the future holds for this 2024 Glenwood Gators team. Any other final thoughts before we sign off?
No, just fans, come support these kids. Thank y'all so much for coming. 2.5 hours last week to Elba. The
Great
kids,
turnout,
yeah,
wasn't
man,
it,
had
man?
a tremendous turnout. The kids really thrive off the fans and them getting in the stadium. And we need y'all to come support us this week. We're 2-0. There's no reason for y'all not to come and give these kids support and just cheer like crazy for us. And hopefully we can pull out the W.
Shout out to Chase Cook, Mike Inez. Come get you some good barbecue. And also want to say thank you to Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC, Pepsi, and also Zaxby's. So for all your tailgating needs, give Zaxby's a call. Judson Humphreys, former Glenwood alumni, who owns the Phoenix City Zaxby's. We appreciate their support of Georgia Alabama Sports Live and specifically Glenwood Athletics. From Brian Nelson, I'm Thrift Barron, just saying thank you so much for watching the Glenwood Coaches Show here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.